Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this this post right here behind me and this contraption here. So I did this about 6 years ago. It was a quick throw together job. I mean, I didn't really do anything magical. It was just quick and dirty. So it's now it's time to replace it. The post is loose. I don't know if the neighbor crashed into it or what happened, but the thing is ready to be pulled out like a loose tooth. So what I'll do is we'll go over what I did a long time ago, what I'm going to do now, and any potential challenges we have on this project. So my one post and a panel, it's nice and loose. I don't know if it's just loose because the concrete is, like I said, was smashed into or what happened. I don't think that this rotted out. I think they crashed into it. But what I did was I used this is 2x4. This is fingerboard, so this is basically reclaimed wood. So what it has is fingers that interlock, and this is how they reclaim wood for construction. So none of this was pressure treated. I don't think you can get pressure treated fingerboard like this, but it's time to replace this. I only ever painted it the one time and that was it. So this is another example of the same thing that I'm gonna do, just something quick and simple to the point. So this time what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a post here, and then over here I'm gonna put another post. This will all get cleaned out, and this will be basically two posts and a mocked up panel. I'll paint it, I'll make everything look good. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go to the other side and just take a look at this job from the other perspective. So this is, it's right on the property line. So you see the way it is now. So I'll probably put the post here, and then we'll try to come out on this side as far as we can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a space between the post and the actual wall right here, because I may have to remove this wall later, and this wall is at least 4 feet tall, so I'd need a footing. The bottom here is deteriorating. I don't know if I'm going to patch that or not, but when I dig out this post here, I'll take a look at this as well, and then we'll see what conclusion I come to. So what I'm going to do now is go over material and tools. Our material list. All the lumber here, this is all pressure treated lumber. So all the lumber here is 8 feet long. I have two 5x5x8 posts. Oddly enough, these things were actually cheaper than 4x4. 1x6x8. That is our thickness. These will be my vertical pieces. 2x4x8. I have two of them. These are going to be my horizontal pieces that are going to go across the two posts. Paint. This is the fence paint I'm using now. Here's a tip, always make sure to write down the year of whatever your material is if you're going to store for a longer period of time. That way at least you have an idea of how old it is. What you can always do is mix like two paints together, or new and old stuff, as long as it's the same. I've done it with ABS glue as well. Our screws, the typical 8x1.5 deck screws, 8x3-inch deck screws. Gravel. So the gravel is going to be at the bottom of the holes for the post. The gravel is just meant to keep the bottom of the post dry, and then on top of the gravel is where we're going to have our concrete. Post ace concrete, the stuff that I use for doing fence posts, it's a quick set. I wouldn't use it for anything else. I think I bought a little bit more than what I needed to, but as I always say, it's easier just to return anything that you don't use it. So always, buy an extra 2x4, buy an extra bag of concrete. I don't know if I need 3 or not, but it is easier and less stressful if you overbuy. So what we'll do now is go into tools. Now our tools. Cordless kit, I think I only need the impact on this job. Glasses, earplugs, bits, speed square, 4-foot level. Typical hand tools, I think all I need is a measuring tape on this job. Skill saw, sledgehammer, shovel, pickaxe, these are our landscaping tools. And then we have our 5-gallon bucket for mixing. So once this job is all done, we'll go over the cost of the material and the amount of time it took us to finish. Alright, so the first thing we have to do is demo. Demo is done. That is the bottom of the post. And then there's the other half of the post. So what I'll do now is we will, I'll clean the rocks, get all this stuff out of here. And then I'm going to clean this out too, and then we're going to see what this is going to look like, how close I can get to the concrete. There's already something growing out through here. This is a reason why you want to keep bushes and especially trees away, because what will end up happening is that it'll grow through. Once the roots start growing through, it just keeps pushing on it. Alright, I'll clean this out and we'll be back. Here we are. The pavement ends right here. So what I'm going to do is I'll put the post here. I'll give it, I don't know, maybe 6 inches. I'll figure it out once I dig down. So the digging part here is going to be the most time-consuming part. There's a shrub there, and I just know this ground has so many rocks in it. So I'm going to dig it down. The goal is to get down about 18 inches, but we'll see what I run into, and we'll figure it out from there. Okay, so this is the hole for our post. Right there is a drain for the old footing. What they did originally. So I'm guessing what they have is one of these every maybe 4 feet all the way down the line. So I've gone down about 17 inches. So what I'm gonna do here is, with our footing being here, I made a line right here, so our blocks are 7.5. So if I'm going to have, at some point, if I'm going to have to do a new wall, so I'm going to have to put a footing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave an 8-inch space and then have my concrete start here. That way, if this ever has to come down, what I'll do is I'll leave this old footing in, and then I can put the new footing right in front of it, take this wall down, and redo it. So in this case, I'm just thinking ahead in case I will have to do this at a later time. So what we'll do now is I'm going to get a block to block this side off, and I'm going to try to make this smaller. What you can do is use something called a sonoform. You can buy it at a big box store. It's a circular piece of cardboard. I don't have one, so I have plenty of lumber, so I'm just going to throw in a block, make this smaller, and then once I have my form for this, we'll pour our gravel in, and then we'll grab the post. Okay, so this is the block that's going to be for our makeshift form. So I want the concrete to end here. That way, if I ever need this space, I can use it. So what I'm going to do is the gravel, I'm going to fill here, maybe around 3-4 inches. And then I'm going to put dirt on the backside. The idea is if you fill both sides together, that's going to give this some stability. And then what I'm gonna do for the spaces on either side, the space here and then the space here, I'm gonna stack rocks one on top of the other, and this is going to be my form. And then the dirt on this side will be the form on this side. Okay, so this is our form. So I've got gravel on the left side. We'll tamp that down, compact it, and then dirt on this side, and then I have rocks on either side. So the idea here is, once the post is in and we start doing our concrete, as I pour concrete in, I'm gonna backfill on the other side. Once the concrete gets up to the level of the rocks, what I'm gonna do is just continually add rocks on top of it, and then the whole thing is gonna come up together. So our post is in. So what I did here is I built this just to hold the post in place. The weight of the wood is really going to hold it in place as long as you can just get it straight. So we'll take our 4-foot level. It's plumb. And it's plumb. So what I also did was I took the sledgehammer and a string. The idea of the string is just to make a line of where the pavement is, and then the post, I'll turn it back and forth so everything runs nicely parallel. So what I'm gonna do now is start mixing up our concrete and putting it into our hole. Okay, so we have our concrete. Guys, don't touch concrete with your hands. Always wear gloves because concrete will dry out your skin. It's just not good for you, so try to avoid touching it if at all possible. Like I said, wear gloves. So all we're going to do is now throw our concrete. Okay, so this is our hole that's mostly filled. So I started on this side. Pour the concrete in. Always make sure that you stab it to get the air out. If the concrete keeps going into the hole, that means there's still space, like there is here. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this side with soil now to put some weight on the block so it doesn't go anywhere. And then what I'll do is I'll show you I will show you guys what it looks like when the concrete is filled to the top. Alright, so this is our form. Make sure you stab all the air out of it. I've already done that. And then also make sure that you bevel the very top. So any rainwater will go away from the post. You don't want to have a pocket where anything is going to sit. Now, the back lane here is fairly steep, so I don't see any problem with water puddling at the base of the post. So we went down about 1.5 feet. We filled dirt. Here is a piece of concrete for the very top of my form, and then we put the concrete in at the same time. So this took me just over 1.5 bags, a little bit more than I wanted to. I thought it'd be about 1.5 bags. So hopefully I'll still be in good shape for the other post. So this stuff should set up fairly quickly. It says 20 minutes. I'd say probably give it about a half an hour. But what I'll do is I'll check the plumb on our post one last time, because if you need to move it, right now is the time to do any adjustments that you need to. So I'll check the plumb and we'll get ready to move on to the other post. Okay, so our post is in now. Plumb is good. Plumb is good. Nice and solids. Alright, so this is our other post. I dug this out already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the post, throw it in. I'll figure out, see what it looks like. And then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to support it for when I pour my concrete. the post is so heavy, it naturally just stays plumb. This is what our hole looks like. So I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna grab my 2x4, my horizontal piece. I think I'm gonna screw it into the one end, and then I will get this nice and plumb and screw it into this end, and that should hold this post in place. Alright guys, this is our lumber, and I also want to talk about the paint that I used here. So this paint here is from Sherwin-Williams. It's not from a big box store. With the account that I have, I got 15% off, so I paid just over $40 for this. At the big box store, whatever they have is just over $60. So I've been very happy with this paint. It has phenomenal coverage. I think overall it is just a much better quality paint. So it was cheaper gallon for gallon, and I think it's going to perform a lot better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the 1x6s here in half. These are going to be our vertical pieces, and then I'm going to take my my 2x4 here. We'll take it outside. We'll attach it to the post that's already done, and then I'm going to see what it looks like, and then we will measure off where we're going to cut this. And once I cut this, we'll attach it to the post and get ready for concrete. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut our 1x6. I'm just going to cut them in half at 4 feet. Alright, with all of our pieces cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and paint the ends. I got to do that side as well. And I'll do 2 coats on all of these. This will only take me 5 minutes. And then while that is drying, I will grab the 2x4 and the post and start getting that all put together. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to put our cross 2x4. I'm going to go about a foot up. Okay, with this being close, right where it is now, what I can do is move the bottom of the post back and forth to where it needs to be, get this all ready to go, and then I'm going to pour my concrete. Alright, so our pieces are crossed now. It's level. And we are plumb. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go grab the concrete. And I'm going to get ready to start mixing it up and throwing it in the hole. So that is our second post concreted in. So I used rocks and a block just to push the side out a little bit, just so I didn't have to use so much concrete. So I also went ahead and then I did both cross pieces. I will cut the ends off later on after I'm done. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting the vertical 1x6s, and then after that's all done, I will cut this stuff off here and we'll be pretty much finished. Okay, so now I'm going to install our vertical pieces. Okay, so I'll put the rest in and then we'll come back. Okay, so we got all of our pieces on except the last one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut through this and the bottom with the Sawzall, and then I'll paint this really quickly, and then we'll put our last piece on, and that'll be all she wrote for this job. Alright, so this is our finished product. I painted the end here and the bottom. So this is my makeshift fence panel. A fence panel would have been $150 alone. So besides that, watching the neighbor here park this boat here, I am 100% confident that this post here is going to get hit at some point. So, I mean, there's no real point in going overboard with this. But it looks good. Guys, one thing with our concrete here. When you do your concrete, you want to make sure that your ground is always away. Another way to think about it is you always want to make sure that you can see concrete. You never want dirt all the way to the bottom of your post. Like this will be a little bit worse because of this downhill incline. So as time goes on, I'll just clean it just so you can see the actual concrete in the very bottom. If anything, you want your concrete to be higher than the ground, just like in this case here. Here I elevated it so the dirt will never hit the base of the post. It'll only it'll sit below the level of the concrete. So that is it. Everything looks good, nice and plumb. You can see the line of the garage and the post. They're nice and parallel. Everything looks good. So what we'll do now is a breakdown of our time and our cost. Alright guys, so we're all done now. So our time in total. So the amount of time I needed was probably about 12 hours. So it was probably 2 hours a post. That's digging it out, pouring. A couple hours to paint, clean up. You know what? When you're working on your own, things tend to take a little bit longer. I thought this would be about a 10-hour job. It was a little bit longer than that, but everything looks good. Everything is nice and straight. So the cost of this project. So because of the pandemic right now, lumber is at a premium. So the concrete, gravel, the lumber, the paint I already had, and then the screws as well. The cost on this job was about $150. So if I was to buy a fence panel, the fence panel right now is $150 alone. So again, I'm sure the neighbor here is going to crash his boat or his truck into it at some point. So there's no point in going crazy about it. But job well done. Everything looks good. So I'm fairly happy with it. Guys, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.